Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing some more painting and adding more layers, doing more waxing. I've got my wax pot here, so you can see that. I've got my diagram, my map here. Hope you can see part of that. I'm going to be painting again from lightest to darkest, and I've added a couple of new swatches on here. I was going to go with cad yellow and cobalt blue for the more gray tones. And this, as you can see, it almost looks a greenish color in this photo. But I think I've changed my mind from this one to this one, which is using New Gamboge and Horizon Lavender. And it gives me more settling in here, a little bit of granulation. I really like the looks of that a little bit better. So I'm going to be using this one. It is an opaque pigment. Go ahead and go with that one instead. Let's get started. All right, I'm using this mixture, which was the New Gamboge and a little bit of burnt orange, just to darken them up just a little bit, get a little bit more feeling of orange in there. I had a viewer comment on one of my videos asking me or telling me that this process looks very cumbersome. And let me explain something to you. Yes, it's cumbersome if you want to go into this much detail. If you are an experienced painter, you know how to paint values very clearly, you may not have to go to this depth of doing all of this and all of this. Now, typically when I paint, because I've been painting for 17 years, I've got a really good feel for my values. I've done watercolor pouring, which is using nothing but values to assess what I'm going to paint. I don't even go this far when I do my watercolor pourings. Now, some people may, and I clap for them for going that far. I think it's really important to know your values, to be able to understand how those values, those lighter and darker values play on each other, how to make something pop by using a darker value next to a lighter value. Not everybody knows that. And so I highly recommend doing this process until you've got a good feel for it. Now, on my raven painting that I did, I didn't do this. I only had the bird, a couple of round objects in there, and the toy, the Christmas ornament that the raven was holding in its beak. Everything else, I just added paint to make it look like a leafy background, like it was up in a tree. And I really didn't have to map out like I am here. And I'm not really mapping out where this background is going to be. That's just going to be a mixture of greens, lights and greens and darks, and they may turn into what look like a leaf. Down here in this bottom area, it's going to be darker. There may be some areas that turn into a leaf. Those are going to be found objects. When I put this down and I can see something that looks like it may be a leaf, then I can accentuate that. But I really enjoy this process, and if you're a beginner, you absolutely need to do this. You absolutely need to do it. You will get so lost if you don't. So take the time to do that. If you're a very experienced painter, like I said before, you may not feel the need to do this. You may be able to just go by your photograph and find those areas, but you've got to be experienced in it, or it won't turn out like you think. I mean, I can't even guarantee this will turn out like I think, but I have done enough paintings over the 17 years, and over the last 8 years I've done many watercolor pourings, and with those, with the watercolor pourings, I go just by my photograph. I can see the lights and darks. I know how to make that work. This, yes, I know my lights and darks. I know my values very well, but I just feel by using this map here, and which is a value study in essence, along with my photograph, it's going to help this be what I see in my head. Okay, I will continue painting, but I just wanted to clarify that. So these are my dark areas up here. Up here. So that's what I'm putting in, is the darker areas. Where the wax is the lighter areas. I'm going to take some of this horizon lavender and I'm going to put it in this area to give that a little bit different look to that. Creates a little bit darker area, and it will help these lighter areas in here stand out more. Now if I dilute that a little bit more, I think it will look a little better. Sort of putting a mixture of colors in there. This one in the background here, I'm going to make that one darker so it pops the front ones more forward. You can't see it now as well because it's on the black background. Whoops, how did I get that orange in there? I don't want that. I'm just going to be painting here for a while. Please don't hesitate to ask me questions on this, because I'd be more than willing and happy to explain anything I can to you. I know you're all anxious for me to get to the end of this, and I'm anxious too, believe me. So tempting to jump in there and just put in all of the different colors and let them blend in together. But that's not really what you want to do. Patience. It requires a lot of patience. Okay, I'm going to let this all dry, and now I think I'm going to get started putting some greens down here in the leaves. So I'll be down here in this area, over here in this area. So, let's get my mixture of greens going here. I want my lighter green, a bit of cobalt, cad yellow light, oops. And I'll put it down here in these lighter areas. going to go in with some darker greens. The darker green, I'm using the Indigo and New Gamboge. And see how dark that indigo is. And I'm just going to start playing in here. And yes, this is darker, but it's still going to be the first layer on this. And I'm not talking a lot in this video just so that you can watch me paint. There isn't a whole lot to explain. I'm just going by my diagram or my map. And I can get through this video just a little bit quicker. Now when I get into waxing, that's going to take me a little bit more. Leaf in here. I think I've painted some petals that were supposed to be leaves. We can fix that easily. My backgrounds in my florals are usually very loose and don't give you a lot of information. I look for found leaves. That means it might look like a leaf, so I can enhance that. And when I come back to do waxing in here, I will kind of look for that area as well. This is the same type of technique that I use when I do my backgrounds in my florals. I don't mix up the colors really good. I just grab some and put in so that I've got different colors in there. I'm doing this very quickly. This is all going to dry a whole lot lighter. Turn this around and do some of the background up here as well, using that same method. Also going to mix some cad yellow light in there as well. And I can use more water in this because I don't have to worry about it bleeding into an unwanted area, except between the leaves, or between the petals. As you can see, I've still got tons of detail work to do in this. See how pretty this looks over in here? I really like that. Oh, I just glanced out my window and it's snowing really hard. By doing this background like this, I can use more of this rice paper to increase the inches where I said I was a little short. I think it was 10 1/4. And so now I can increase this to 12 just by filling in this outside area. Oops, that was a little bit too bright. What I don't need, I can just crop off. Put lighter in here. After it all dries, you can see how much more dark values I need in there. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good on that for right now. I'm going to let this all dry because it's very wet. And I think I'll come back in and wax tomorrow rather than do it today. Not make this a really long video. I'm already at almost an hour, so I will shorten it up a little bit, and I will see you back here tomorrow. And thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I appreciate it so very much. See you. Bye.